So let's talk about Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts been out a while now, so hopefully y'all have seen it. But if not, spoiler alert, spoiler alert, spoiler alert. Last time I'll say it, spoiler alert. We're gonna talk about Thunderbolts. If y'all have seen it, chime in. If you didn't see it, sorry, I'm about to spoil it. Um, so I'm gonna be honest. When this movie was announced, I was not very excited about the Thunderbolts movie being announced. I don't really care about any of these characters. In the MCU, they haven't done an amazing job of developing these characters, in my opinion. You've seen Bucky a bunch. Clearly, he was the star of this movie in multiple ways, but some of the other characters I don't really think we care about them. There was also some false advertising. I think the woman's name was Ghost, or was it Taskmaster? Dash says I didn't see it because of the BBL, but please spill the tea. Yes, yes, ma'am. Um, yeah, it's kind of also false advertising. Kia, Kia says, uh, Thunderbolt melting emoji. David says, nope, have not seen it, but I'm not the most interested in them either. Yeah, all the advertising had everyone involved as a team, but actually, in the beginning of the movie, somebody gets shot in the head. I think it was Taskmaster, if I'm correct. But so they're only in like the first couple minutes of the movie. It's also whack to me that nobody died. Like, and we knew that before the movie came out because when they did the Marvel Chair Watch, we saw all of those names from the Thunderbolts roster, if you will, in the Chair Watch, which was everyone who will be involved in Avengers Doomsday, which has been delayed, by the way. Maybe we get back to that in a minute. But I didn't really care about this movie, so I didn't have high expectations. None of these people are very powerful, very popular. Yelena is like the next popular, I guess, because she's been in a couple of different things. We saw her a lot during the Hawkeye show, which was really good. But some of these things, some of these characters was like they were nobodies. And so they put together a bunch of nobodies, which they know, and they even make fun of throughout the film. They say like, "Oh, we don't have superpowers; we just punch and shoot." There's another time period when Val says, "This is like the worst group of people I could think of to come together and work together," and so they're kind of poking fun at themselves, which is cool. Um, but I didn't love this movie. It was cool. It was like a 7. Oh, actually, I have a rating system, which I'll get to in a minute. But it was all right. The whole concept is there is a new super soldier who was developed through Val and her CIA operative stuff, and that is the Sentry. The Sentry is like Marvel's Superman. There's a lot of characters who kind of mirror each other in the DC and Marvel universes. Sentry is supposed to be like their Superman. Um, he doesn't really have like a kryptonite thing. He's a person who has schizophrenia and multiple personality stuff, and so because he has a mental illness, his kryptonite is kind of himself. So and this is from the comics. I'm not even saying the movie. In the comics, he's basically a person who has like mad powers. He even like has these really huge fights with the Hulk. There's a great comic called World War Hulk, and in World War Hulk, he's like kicking everybody's ass, the Hulk, and then Sentry comes towards the end, and it's like, all right, Bruce, you gotta chill. And they get into this big brawl. They have like epic fights in Marvel Comics. But because he has mental illness, there's a thing where, like, similar to the Hulk, when the other side takes over, things get really dark, literally, for him. And so what happens is there's this thing called the Void, and the Void is the other side, the darker side of Sentry, which comes out and takes over and usually wants to like kill everybody and everything in sight and just do a bunch of foul stuff. And so you have to kind of go into the void to defeat the character, the other guy. That's his realm, the void. And so they did that in the movie. Um, the void is his power, is his domain, I guess is the best way to say it. The other guy has a name too, Sentry. I can't remember the other guy's name. But in the movie, the regular guy is Bob. When Bob gets powers, he becomes Sentry. And then the other thing they just call the void, but the void is actually the domain, the place that you got to kind of go. It's like the darkness is where he reigns supreme, this other version of Sentry. So in the movie, they do like a good job of making you feel sorry for Bob. Bob don't know what's going on. Then all of a sudden, Bob's got powers, and then Bob is Sentry. The movie was cool. Lots of fighting. Did it succeed as an action movie? I guess. But was it great? No. One of the things I liked the least is the end of the movie. We didn't see Sentry for very long. This seems to be a trend in Marvel. I don't know why. If you saw the Captain America New World Order movie, it's kind of similar. We see Red Hulk for like 10 minutes. Not really sure why. But it's similar. We see Sentry for just a little bit, and then it goes into the void. And then everything happens in the void, and then it's over. There's no Sentry. Even in the end credit scene, he's like, no, no, I can't change because I haven't learned how to control it yet. And so he's just Bob. I thought that they did a good job of like fighting themselves and kind of like you fighting the repressed, angrier version of yourself and trying to struggle with control because that's kind of how the Sentry goes. I thought that part was good. But visually, it wasn't appealing. It was just like, what are we doing? Example, there's a point when the Thunderbolt team is fighting furniture. I'm not exaggerating. They are fighting furniture, not hyperbole, furniture. I don't want to see quote unquote superheroes fighting furniture. I'm sorry. There's lots of other ways to do this. Checking into Hulk Bob. The movie was cool. Oh, checking into Vegas, didn't realize it's live. What's up, P? Yes, it's alive. Weeknights will be live for the rest of the week and next week as well. My co-host Dash is out. She's here in the chat, but she's at the recovery house healing from surgery. Why would they do that? I don't know. There are points when they're fighting themselves. They're fighting other versions of themselves. They're fighting random things to try to gain control and help Bob regain control, but not furniture, not equipment. I don't want to see that. Yeah, could have had monsters. Yeah, could have had like all this other stuff. You could have even brought back Scarlett Johansson and had her fight Yelena in some like, oh no, my past is fighting me kind of thing. Um, but I don't want to see furniture. I thought that the end of the movie was anticlimactic. Also, I guess to help with promo, at one point about a week after the movie came out, they had a press conference where they rip off the name Thunderbolts and tell people why there was an asterisk. It's because it's called the New Avengers now. And so even if you go on AMC right now, it no longer says Thunderbolts, it says New Avengers. That's what happens at the end of the movie. Again, spoiler alert. Val takes advantage of everything that happened, and she holds a press conference and says that this team is the new Avengers. And so the Thunderbolts don't exist. They are the new Avengers. And yeah, I think this is a struggle for Marvel. I think this was a struggle for Marvel. They promoted it really well. All right, let me pause and read some of these comments. Dash says, "Why would they do that? I don't know." P says, "Peace." Dash says, "That annoyed me." P says, "Oh, that's why they did a reband on the strip." Cool. Yeah, that's what it was. They're the new Avengers. Um, Dash says they didn't even wait a week to change the name. Yeah, I think it was less than a week. It was just days later. Kia says they could have made it interesting by more action. They told too much story for me. Yeah, I mean the pacing was not great. And really what this was a mental health movie, which I understand partially because of Bob slash Sentry, but it was way too much with everyone. Everyone had some kind of issue, was depressed, or finding themselves, or struggling, which is life, sure. But I don't go to the movies to watch superheroes struggle with mental health. I don't want to watch the mental health Avengers. I didn't make that up. I got that from someone online. I'll be honest. But I just think that like I'm not really interested in the mental health Avengers, and also like the whole new Avengers thing is kind of whack, and they know that because in the end credit scene, P says, yes, LOL, mental health Avengers. Yeah, I didn't make that up. I got that from a YouTube channel that I watched. The guy's name is Emergency Awesome. And that's what he said, and I feel like it's spot on. It's the mental health Avengers, which is probably a better name for them. But anyway, in the end credit scene, they even make fun of that. They say that Bucky was had to go speak to new Captain America, Sam, and he it didn't go well. And so Sam is suing them for the name New Avengers because Sam is also building his team. Sam is new Captain America. For those who don't really know MCU well, he is what's the actor's name? Oh man, I'm not good with actors' names. Anthony Mackie. There you go. Mental Health Avengers. Key is still laughing at it. Yeah, so I just feel like this was not great. And so since we do lots of reviews and we'll be doing more, I came up with a bit of a system here. And so I'm gonna tell y'all my rating for this movie, and then I'll shut up as far as this goes. And I'll tell you how I'm going to be doing things from now on because you'll be hearing it more. So I broke things down into a couple of categories. Number one is acting. Number two is story. Number three is pacing. Number four is genre based. I don't know how to word this, but today I feel like a lot of movies don't stick to their genre. They just kind of do whatever the hell they want. And I don't like that. If you tell me it's an action movie, I want to see an action movie. To be clear, I don't have any beef with people making a layered movie. I think the best movies are layered, but I think what's happening a lot today is people are saying, "Oh, it's an action movie. Go watch my action movie," and then you go and the movie's a drama, the entire movie, and you're like, "I thought this was an action movie. I'm really confused." And so I'm calling this category genre based cinematography and special effects. And so, just real quick for Thunderbolts, I give the acting a 7, the story a 5, the pacing a 6, genre based an 8, cinematography an 8, special effects an 8, and the average score, which is my total slash final score, is a 7. You take all of those categories, add them up, take the number, and divide it by the same number. The average is 7. Kia says out of a 5, the movie was 2.8. Yeah, so we're not too far from each other. We look at it a little different, but yeah, I'm giving it a 7. That's my ranking system that I'll be using from now on when we talk about things on weeknights or when people call me and ask me, "Oh, what you thought about this movie?" Because people do that. So it was a 7. It was a 7. I don't think anything was great about this film. Uh, and there's the full breakdown. Also, the numbers say that the movie wasn't great. I saw something. I don't know if I saved it, but it said that the Thunderbolts movie. Let me see if I saved it. It said that Thunderbolts was the second worst release from Marvel in history. I'm just trying to see if I have it so I could tell y'all the exact numbers. I don't think I saved it. No, it doesn't look like it. Anyway, it's almost time to wrap up, but yeah, it according to Disney's numbers, I don't need this. According to Disney's numbers, Thunderbolts has the second worst numbers in the history of all of the Marvel movies that have been released. My guess is the Marvels is the worst one. I have to look that up and get back. But so clearly, I'm not the only one who didn't feel very excited about Thunderbolts. Some of y'all have been commenting. Let's go to the comments. Um, Kia says, "Yeah, and they have to rebrand. That was weird. Yeah, so they're the new Avengers for no ass reason." P says, "Yes, that's true." Oh, I said Kia already. Out of five, the movie was a 2.8. He says, "I'm gonna be honest. I didn't even know about the film till I clicked in. My head's in the sand." That's funny. Dash says, "I think Marvel is struggling at this point. It's like they can't figure out what they want to prioritize anymore." Agreed. Dash says, "Even felt like they dropped the ball with Red Hulk and Captain America. They absolutely did. They over advertised Hulk, and then we didn't even get to really see Red Hulk. It was a tease." He says, "Last quarter, I saw they had like 5 movies coming and I blanked out." They are slowing down their production of movies. So this year they had Thunderbolts and Cap. Captain America: New World Order, and the third and final film for the year will be Fantastic Four. Next year, it looks like they're slowing down things as well. It looks like so far the only movies that will be out next year are Spider-Man: Brand New Day in July and Avengers: Doomsday, which originally was going to be May 27th or something like that, and it was pushed back to December. It will now come out during Christmas, and so will the following film, which is Avengers: Secret Wars. I think there's some other movies coming out, but Marvel just canceled a bunch of movies in the last couple of days because they're trying to just close this out. I think that Marvel desperately needs a restart, and I think they know that as well. Secret Wars will be a restart just like it is in the comics. And so I think that'll help Marvel because now they own most of their characters, unlike 20 years ago when it first started. Well, not 20 yet, but when this ends, it'll be 20 years. Marvel started in '08, MCU started in '08, so they will have a better idea. I see your comment, Dash. I'll be right with you. I think Marvel is just trying to rush to the restart. Now that they own most of their characters, they'll be able to do more of the stories that they have done in the comics that have done well because they have access to the characters. And so I think they'll be able to build a better universe that way, and you won't have to worry about so much confusion of this universe, that universe. Why is this person not in this story, etc. Dash says Doomsday better be endgame level good. Yeah, a lot of people feel that way. I don't know how much of the story they're adapting, but Secret Wars is a really good story. It's been done before in the '80s, I think it was, via a Spider-Man cartoon. Um, it's also how Spider-Man originally got the symbiote black suit thing that later becomes Venom. And the Russo brothers are doing Doomsday and Secret Wars. So Marvel's doing their best to, really push the boundaries here. It should also just be great visually. I don't know about the story and how much they're going to adapt, but Doomsday leads to Secret Wars, and this is like all the characters you've wanted to be together will finally be together. So there's going to be like X-Men and Avengers and all these other people. They're bringing back old actors to kind of give them a big last goodbye before the restart begins. Because when Secret Wars happens, some actors will leave and there will be new actors replacing those characters, and some will stay and they will continue to be the character you know them as. Um, and so we'll see how that goes. The only person who is a little bit of a question mark that I think will operate in another universe is Wolverine, because I don't know when they're gonna do a new Wolverine in the main universe, but I do know that Deadpool and Wolverine was super successful, and they are already working on more of those films. So I don't know how that's gonna go. We'll see as more information is released. But yes, they are trying to make Doomsday and Secret Wars just as big as Infinity War and Endgame. So we'll see what happens there. But it did get pushed back, and they're saying because they need more time for post production to edit out these things and make sure that the movie looks really good for Doomsday. They are filming Doomsday and Secret Wars basically back to back because it has a lot of the same actors. So yeah, that's that.